Good morning. Welcome back, you all. So this week we're going to be going over I should say today we're going to be going over a general reading for this week. Again, this is 18 and up. And if you haven't already, make sure that you like, subscribe, and follow so that you can make sure that you stay up to date with each week as I pull cards. Alrighty, so for the beginning of this week, we are starting off with the High Priestess. In the middle of our week, we have Winter's Bite, which is Maker 5. And then we have the Emperor closing out our week. So this feels like we are entering a stage where within the world, you may see a lot of combativeness this week. You may see different things about wars or fights or just people not getting along. You may see a lot more conversations between men and women going back and forth, kind of battle of the sexes, kind of conversations that have been going on for a while now, but it feels like these energies might be a little amped up this week. So just be mindful of where you're giving your energy. Okay. So then we have, I guess we'll go over the first portion. And excuse my daughter. She is helping us with this reading today. So for the first part of the week, we have the High Priestess. So this card really feels like you're coming into the week, whether you are presently aware of it or not, you're coming into the week being fully and totally prepared for what it is that is before you, for what it is to come. This feels like we're talking about, in part, great manifestations and the work that comes with that, as well as the promise. So know that... And again, the promise can go for shadow or for light. It really is dependent on you. But know that the promise, the rainbow in that card, is talking about the fact that what is for you is promised to you. What is for you is also what you have been creating, where you have been putting your energy, where you've been putting your time, where you've been putting your magic, right? It's a very powerful, 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 powerful card when we're talking about the beginning of this week, because it's that's the setup of the energy that we're going in with. This balanced energy, this energy that can, this may be the perfect time for you to start doing some work, spiritual work, if you have kind of been called to do that, if you've been being felt, or if you've been feeling as though that is something that will be beneficial to you. This is that time to do that work. So if you've been looking for that confirmation, there you go. Go ahead and get your work done, your spiritual work done. If you need to come up with some kind of spiritual practice so that you can remain grounded as we continue to move through these energies, make sure you're doing that. As I am looking at this card, I'm also feeling that part of that promise also has to do with the self. What is it that is in your highest interest? What is it that you truly desire for yourself, right? And then making sure those things are in alignment and balance with the conversations that you're having with yourself. You may see that towards the beginning of this week, you may have fears that come up. You may have concerns that come up. But all of those things, they're simply asking you to be grounded, because the promise is that everything will be divinely and very timely working out in your favor. And so you never have anything to worry about. Alrighty, so excuse me, I had to step away from with my daughter for just one moment. Alrighty, so getting back into these cards, we were on the High Priestess with the beginning of our week. So we were talking about the promise, and the promise not only promises that things will be good, right? But it also promises that even in those moments where things don't feel good, even in those moments where we feel as though we don't have everything that we need, seemingly, right? We are still divinely provided for, meaning that if we are going through a moment where things seem to be ending, where things seem to be shifting, where things seem to be moving in a direction. Perhaps that direction is not a direction that we would have originally wanted to necessarily go in. Know that those things are divinely happening because they're preparing you for what it is you truly do desire to feel, right? We just don't always realize that sometimes for us to feel and experience the things that we want, sometimes other things have to end. So even though it's not necessarily truly what we desire, it is because we want the result of what happens when that space is no longer being filled up. Okay. All right, so going into the middle of our week, we're talking about winter's bite. Now, again, the shadow and the light. The shadow of this side is that you're seeing yourself in a space of lack. You're not seeing yourself being enough. You're not seeing yourself having enough. And so more than likely, you'll find yourself overworking yourself. You might find yourself overcompensating. You may find yourself feeling really depressed or really, really pushing yourself. And what you really, really need to do is to be resting. Okay, so making sure that you are in a balanced state, doing the things that keep you grounded, doing the things that keep you tuned into your own divine spirit so that you can move accordingly. And because again, these energies are amplified this week and they're going to continue to be getting more and more intense and different kind of things happening in the world. And so it's important. It is truly, truly important that if you have not already found ways and mastered ways of getting yourself grounded, that you do that, right? Because you don't want to get swept up in the midst of chaos, right? Now, chaos is fine. It creates beautiful things in the midst of chaos, right? But we don't want to get swept up in chaos, right? We don't want to be running around like a chicken with our head cut off, right? Or for any of us who just finished Saturn returns, right? What you learn, what you need to do moving forward. How do you need to set yourself up, right? So anyway, that is the shadow side. Now, the light side of this card is that a period is ending, right? You're coming to a clearing, a space where you're going to be experiencing manifestations. So be very mindful of your words this week because they are very active, very potent this week. You will be able to manifest what it is that you truly desire when you have the feeling, the emotion backed or backing the words that you speak this week. So make sure that you're speaking power into your life. Make sure that you're speaking love into your life and into those that you love and care about. But yeah, so this week you can begin to see certain clarity coming. You can begin to see certain manifestations coming. You can begin to see and understand, have greater clarity as to why you experienced some of the things that you did. What was the greater purpose of them, and what is it that you were meant to do with those lessons moving forward, right? So all of that is this middle portion of the week. Making sure that if you feel the urge to do any journaling or writing, I'm really feeling like some of you are going to be called to do that. Make sure that you do that. Get your thoughts out there. It will help you to begin to put things into order or to receive the clarity that's needed so that you can do the things you want to do moving forward. Alrighty, so the end of our week, we're ending it with the Emperor. Now, this card talks about structure. It talks about that more masculine energy, the authority, the authority that comes from that masculine energy. But I also always see this card as change, as shifting. And this feels like we could be experiencing grand shifts. And a lot of these shifts may seem like they come out of nowhere. All of a sudden, you may find yourself in a completely different reality than the one that you were previously in, right? Now, this week it doesn't feel like the message around this week is heavy around karma, but it does feel like this week we are looking at the effects, the impact, the outcome of who it is that we've been, right? So I know that may sound weird because that is karma, but it's not so much karma that we're focusing on, more so who you've been, how you've been, what you've been. At this point, it is what it is, and you're going to begin to see the result of that, right? that's a beautiful thing. That's a magical thing when you've been doing your work. I know that some of us have been doing our work for a long time, and you may not have always seen the outcome of the manifestation of that work, And so during this time period, you're going to begin to see a lot of that stuff come in. And to other people, it may seem as though this stuff just, boom, just popped up, right? Just manifested. But in truth and reality, right, that you've been putting in the work for a very long time, and this is well deserved. This is divinely deserved because you put in the work to earn it. You put in the work to gain it. So through that discipline, you're going to be receiving the shifts and the changes that are a direct result of your choices of who you've been, how you've been, and what you've been. Okay. And then on the shadow side, that light and shadow energy. So on the shadow side, you also have, swift changes don't always happen in a positive way, right? They can be swift changes that are more negative, but understand that whatever the changes are that take place, they're standing on truth, right? These are not, and it's never a situation, right, where something happens, someone's just victimized by life, right? That's not what life is. It's not what life does. But just to reiterate, you're not going to come across a situation during this period where something is just flat out unjust, right? Sometimes we see situations and we believe that they are unjust because of something, because of what that situation is or how it happened. But sometimes what we don't realize is that that energy, that frequency has been called on. It doesn't mean that everything that happens, is just lovely and great and stuff. And, even if it's bad, it's great. But it does mean that it was divinely called upon, right? And so it really is a negative more so than being like a lesson more so. It's a space for us to grow into, right? Whether, and some people are not going to be getting the lessons, right, from their physical body. Some people will be leaving in order for them to get those lessons, but that's not a real separation. It's only an illusion that there's a separation that's there. So regardless to the outcome of your choices, even if you are on the absolute most shadow side of this energy, right, you're still going to get what you need. You're still going to get your lessons. That is part of the promise, right? You will still receive everything that you need and desire, but you will receive it in accordance to who you've been, how you've been, and what you've been. So make sure that you are taking time to get quiet, to get grounded, to really pay attention to what's being manifested and what's being shown to you, right? You may find yourself in situations that you don't really know how you even got blessed with the situation. You're just there. Really celebrate those moments, right? Don't allow yourself to just get caught up in the thing of, oh, okay, well, I'm here and I'm there and life is going. All these things are demanding of me. So you're not present and not in that awareness of, wow, look what I manifested. Yeah, the world is going and all kinds of stuff calling on me to do this and do that. But let me take a moment to really just sit here and be aware of what's happening right here. And so the magic that happens in that space is you naturally begin to open up to more magic. So it is important right now that you all get into that space. Get into that space. So as the divine energies and manifestations start to come to you, you know what to do with them, right? Sometimes we have opportunities that come, and because we're not grounded, because we're not quiet within ourselves, we have no idea what to do or how to take those opportunities as far as they have the capacity to go. So I think that is going to be it for this week. I feel like, I may have some other things that kind of come up throughout the week just to help to guide and support all of these changes. But just know your overall message for this week is grand change and shifting. But this is not grand change that is just boom, out of nowhere, right? This grand change is coming from what you have been putting in. This grand change is coming from who you've been and how you've been. And challenging you to see past current realities that are shifting, or old realities that are no longer present, but your mind and your emotions are still present there, right? Get very present to those things, because when you shift your reality, when you shift your emotions and your mind, you shift your reality. Right? This week, that's what you want to be doing. You want to be doing everything that you can to usher in this shifted reality. Okay? And if you find yourself experiencing some manifestations that are not desired, don't just shove them away. Don't just push them out the door. Get curious about them, right? Because now you have something that you can work with. You have something that you can then mold and shift within yourself so that you can change the continued effect that it has within your life. Okay. Alrighty. So that will be it for this week. I hope that everyone has received something that they needed to hear. I know that by the end of the week, we all will have what it is that we need mentally and emotionally and physically. And if it hasn't manifested physically, we're going to be seeing that coming in very, very shortly. So that being said, I want to close here. I hope that you all have a wonderful day, a wonderful week. I hope that you all are grounded and are manifesting your absolute best selves. All right. We'll talk again next week. Thank you. Bye.